wrote, you can sound just like your favorite artist. It's practical art, right? How many people think if you start playing the piano and you just start learning how to read notes, you'll be just like a concert pianist? How many people think it may take a little bit of practice, a little bit of learning, and a little bit of applying what you're learning to the piano? So you have to apply what you learn. So you have to learn it, you have to develop that learning, and then you have to apply it. It's the same thing with influence. Think of the trumpet. You have those 3 buttons, and then you have a channel. Well, if we look at the 4 dimensions, and we'll talk about that wheel, and you see these 4 dimensions, we'll be talking about the D, the I, the S, and the C. All it is like 4 buttons. And it's just like pushing people's buttons. Has anyone heard that expression? Is that just an American expression? Who's heard that? You know, don't push my buttons, or you want to push the right buttons. Think of that trumpet as your analogy. So when you're applying this knowledge in the workplace, when you're on a sales call, or when you're at a party, think of those 3 buttons. How will I push them in the right way to make it melodic to you? You might like different music than you do. Let's actually take a real quick poll. How many people like classical music? Really like it? I listen to it all day. How many people like jazz? How many people like rock? Rap? Alternative? Hip hop? Okay, so it's just like with the influence code. You want to find out what type of music do you listen to, and then I speak to you in that same. Okay. And why? Why would you find someone else to talk to, for instance? Nothing in common. So it's just not interesting you, right? And that's what you want to do. If you're salespeople and you're talking to someone else about your product, about your service, you want to find out what is it that they like and how to speak to them, because they may be interested in what you have to offer, but if you don't use the same channel, if you think of music, if you don't use the same musical style that they like, they're just not listening to it. Think of like the worst song you've ever heard. And think of that as someone else, maybe a salesperson, if they're singing to you in that song, what do you want to do? Leave. Yeah. You want to hang up, you want to shut the door, you want to leave. You don't want to keep engaging in that conversation. So how many people are ready to play a game? All right, stand up and pick a partner. One partner. There are 2 rules to this game. Okay, so partner A, what's your goal? You want to rip your partner's paper. That's your goal. Now we're going to give you one tool in how to do that. Partner B, your goal is to not allow partner A to rip your paper. So we're going to give you a demonstration. I'm going to be partner A. He's going to be partner B. Partner B, hold the paper like this, and you can do whatever you'd like with it, but the only thing...
Don't put it in front of your face.
Yeah, that's a warning. Yes. The only tool you have is the palm of your hand. Everyone give me the palm, okay? All right, so closed fingers, palm of your hand. That's the only
Open
tool
fingers.
that you have, or open, whichever.
No. Well, yeah, okay, whatever.
Who's playing this game? So your whole goal is to break that paper with the palm of your hand. Okay?
And
go ahead and I'll blow the whistle when you're done.
You can move anywhere you want.
Okay? Does everyone understand the rules? Okay, go ahead.
Not. Okay.
Okay. How many people did not succeed? Okay.
Did anybody succeed?
How many people ripped?
I saw you cheating, so. Anybody else?
How did he cheat? Was there a tip?
He was grabbing.
Oh, he was grabbing. Grabbing. How did? And you listened? Did you listen? Wow, you're really nice.
Okay.
Okay. How many people want a coaching tip and a tool?
A tool that'll help you.
That'll help precision, that if you apply it the right way, everyone will succeed. Now you want to get out your assessment. If you've printed it out, this is where it'll come in handy. And go to the back of the assessment. You'll see a wheel. Remember how we talked about we're a combination of what? All 4 styles? Let's say that again just to remind ourselves. I'm a combination of all 4 styles. If you notice, and especially the graph actually depicts it a little bit more clear and more visually, if you look at the graph, what do you see on this gentleman's report? You see 2 almost equal bars up here? Well, this is what we mean by we're a combination of all 4 styles. There's highs, there's lows. Neither are good or bad. And we'll go into a description. You'll start seeing, oh, sometimes it's good to be a high D. Sometimes it's good to be a low D. So then you'll be able to then identify what your natural style is and then be able to adapt according to the situation. So in his particular situation, his S and C are very close together at the top. So his style would be a combination of an SC. Okay? The other 2 are dramatically lower, and that is what's called below the energy line. There's a 50 mark. If you see the 50 and there's a mark, anything above the 50 is high. Anything below the 50 energy line is low. So when we talk about high D and low D, or high I and low I, you'll know what we're talking about. So the higher it goes up toward the D, it means the more likely you will have the characteristics that we'll describe for you. Or the people that you meet. If you see these characteristics, you go, oh, they're probably a high D, I need to act this way. Or they're a low D, I need to maybe tone things down, be a little bit more patient with them, not get right to the bottom line, but maybe develop relationships. And for today, we're going to focus on core styles. In other words, let's assume, and there's only one person in this room that has this, which actually corresponds to the population, that only 1% of the population has typically 1 that's above the energy line, and everything else is either at or below the energy line. Others, if you look at your graph, you go, oh yeah, my D is high and maybe my C is high. There's one person that has that combination. Another person might be D and I combination, or D and S combination, and they're both high above the energy line. So you're a combination in there. Now, you're also a combination of the lows, and as we talk about the core styles, you'll identify with certain words that you go, oh yeah, that's me, definitely. That's a word that would describe me. Or you say, oh, that's not me at all, and I don't like people like that. How many people have, when we're talking about first impressions, when you get to know someone at a party or you meet someone, maybe at a conference, right? We'll see if anyone is real honest. But how many people have met someone and you instantly like them? You go, oh, I just like them instantly, right? There's just a connection there. Typically, that's because your style is similar. Similar to what we were talking about, the music, there's something that we have in common. It's similar. When our styles are similar, we like hanging out with those people. And sales statistics tell us that people buy from people they like. And people like themselves. So this is where it's important to identify where people are at and then adapt so that they actually listen to you. It's really about opening that doorway. Now let's look at the flip side of that question. How many people have ever met someone, maybe at a party, not here because we all like each other here, but at a party, right? You go to a party and it's not necessarily your type of people, and you've met someone and you just instantly just clash with, or you just, something in them, you're like, I don't like that person, or that person's fake, or I don't, whatever it is. How many people have had that experience?
That last page with the wheel, just turn to that and I'm going to ask you to make some notes on that wheel. And these are some general guidance points that actually later on will show you how to use within the first 30 to 60 seconds of meeting someone in just general conversation to at least get an initial reading on what their behavioral style is so you can immediately start to adapt your own.
One thing I want to point out is it's intentionally, with the way the wheel is that the D is opposite the S. It's because they tend to be opposites in their styles. So the further out you plot out in, say, a D, and the further out someone plots out an S, the more differences there'll be. So if you ever manage a team and you have a D managing an S, if the D doesn't come and adapt toward the inner part of the circle, and if the S doesn't adapt, there's going to be a lot of friction. Or if there's just not simple understanding.